people talk about Imola 1989, the deal about not overtaking, etc. But probably there was an inevitability that it was going to blow up. Whether it was going to happen there, it would have happened somewhere else. Was there more that the team, and Ron Dennis in particular, could have done to keep a lid on it?
Considering the intensity of the rivalry, the team, and perhaps Ron Dennis most of all, he was the one trying to keep the two under control. I think we did it, and Ron in particular did as good a job as anybody could possibly do. And as I say, the team actually functioned normally. They still worked together. They didn't speak to each other, but they still worked normally in debrief, so to speak, in this sort of roundabout way. If Senna had a question, he wouldn't ask Prost. He'd ask me. And I'd ask his race engineer, and his race engineer would ask Prost, and then it'd come back around the other way. So they worked together, but
they'd be
this
sat
roundabout
in the same
way.
room.
In the same room, yeah. It's a bit like going through a divorce, and you can't talk to your wife. You have to talk to the lawyers, and pay the money and all of that. So that's kind of the way it worked. They had ultimate respect for each other. It would appear they hated each other's guts, but they actually worked together to develop the car, even though it was in this sort of roundabout fashion.
Did you believe that it was always going to blow up, that relationship?
They were intensely competitive, and they both wanted the same thing, and so it was going to be hard. They were never going to be friends, and it was always going to get more and more intense. And I think that's what happened. That was absolutely normal, I'd say. And yet this was a credit to all of the people at McLaren. It never divided the team. And in fact, even in their most intense periods, it never affected the team. The team never split into two camps. I think everybody, very few exceptions, everybody realized they work for McLaren, they don't work for the drivers. And so it was just never a problem. Even in their most intense periods, the team still effectively functioned normally.
Steve, I'm looking at you in the eye and I'm saying, so you were race engineering Ayrton Senna. If Alain Prost won a race that year, did you get pleasure from that? Or was it a little bit, I'm talking about you saying, no driver's bigger than the team.
Yeah, I'm competitive. I admit that. And what I wanted was our two drivers to finish 1-2 in every race.
Yours P1.
Senna P1. Yeah. but yeah, I wanted us to be 1-2, but I much preferred my driver to be the number one guy.
Now, I'm very much hoping to get Ron Dennis on this podcast, but in case he doesn't come on anytime soon, did he have a favourite? Did you sense that he was more of a Senna man or more of a Prost man?
There was probably a little bit of that. It happened kind of all the time. If you go back to Lauda and Prost coming, Lauda was really very distrustful of Ron, and he used to say to me, Prost, he's the new boy, he's quick, and that's the future, and Ron's going to favor him, And one of the things that a race engineer has to do, he's obviously got to do the technical part of the job, but he's got to keep his guy on song as much as he can. He's got to be a little bit of a nanny and help with the mental side and all that. And so I used to have to say to Lauda, just don't worry about that. Okay, Ron's spending more time with on Prost's car, but he's not contributing anything there technical. You've got me, you've got your three mechanics. The team's big enough and has a budget enough that we can supply both of you with anything. I'm going to make sure that you never get shortchanged. You are always going to have every opportunity for all the equipment. You don't need anything else. You've got your boys here. Just don't worry about it. Just drive the car, and we'll sort the rest of it out. And even the legendary Lauda sort of needed that sort of support in the face of his perceived Ron Dennis favoritism with Prost. So then you get this similar sort of thing happening. Senna comes along, the quick new boy, and now Prost's the old boy, and he's sort of feeling like Ron's paying too much attention to Senna, and so his race engineer has to give Prost those same assurances that you're not going to get shortchanged. And so it went, Ron did have a real soft spot, it seemed like, for Hakkinen. And Coulthard used to feel the same. Ron favors Hakkinen. And I used to say to him, David, don't worry about it. You know, I know that Ron talks to Hakkinen on the radio and all of that, but, you know, you've got your boys and you've got your race engineer. You've got Dave Ryan on the radio talking to you. You know, Ryan's more tuned into the team and the car and what's going on. You're better off like you are. Don't worry about Ron. You got Dave Ryan, you got your guys, you've got equal opportunity. Just don't worry about any favorites.
Fascinating.